to make it to the top. Have to get to the top. Have to get to the top. That should do it. It's time. Larsson line is gold! Larsson line is gold, everyone! Alright, that should do it. Larsson line is indeed gold. That was not a joke. The key question now is, are we out of the chop, the ranging, consolidating price behavior? And if you are not yet, what are the exact criteria for the next trend to start? Bitcoin has been trending for the vast majority of its existence, but for the past half year we have not had trending price. We've had ranging, consolidating, mean reversal price, meaning it oscillates back to the middle, not trending in either direction. During a ranging price period, we cannot only look for the trend, because there is none. We absolutely must look at the chart construction, which includes monitoring for basic chart patterns to develop, and look at the volume profile, look for clues in the macro environment, with the objective to, as soon as possible, identify when the price starts trending again, and in which direction, obviously. This half-year consolidation feels long now, but it's not uncommon at all. Look, we had the exact same thing from mid-March 2023 until 23rd of October that year. Here we could easily identify the exact criteria for the next trend to start. That time it was the breakout from this range, and we could smell it a bit before. First when this support kept holding, then we got this perfect inverse head and shoulders, which confirmed together with Larsson line gold flip, and then the breakout. So see how multiple positive things coincided. This was not difficult to identify, guys. It was not. And we've had other similar periods in the past. And it seemed we had it again already last week. As you remember, we got a higher low in early September that I talked about then. Then we got this mini range, if ignoring the wicks, even a double bottom here. Price broke out, similar coinciding events, though not as clear as it was the last time. Which is why I was this boring person and said that I still want to see this level at 71,400 to break. Then, unfortunately, instead of punching up here, world unrest escalated. Powell came out and indicated smaller rate cuts. The market probability for two-step cuts from current 475 to 500 down to 425 to 450 went from basically 50% down to zero. It doesn't even show up here now. And price dumped. The 2-year yield has shot up like a bazooka meme coin. Anyone thinking that they can predict the future of markets is a beginner. I'm sorry, but that's the hard truth. I know it's a more comforting thought that there sits someone out there on the internet who knows what the market will do next. And if you just find his tweet or X post or YouTube video, he's gonna tell you what the price will be next. That doesn't exist. The only thing we can do, and what technical analysis is all about, is to find setups where the expected value of the reward versus the risk is favorable. And then you have to react to what actually plays out. Also, I'm a big fan of buying at support during ranging price action. And that wasn't here. And I think it was this day or maybe that day. I saw some people complaining that what they don't like about my process is that if you're late to the party, say you didn't watch CTO Larsson back here, you're only coming in now, you find yourself late, I suggest to aim to wait with at least some of the money for a retracement. And if it happens, you buy at support instead. If it doesn't happen, you just let that opportunity go. And at this day, it felt like you missed it, right? So there was some bickering about that frequently that retracement never happens, which is true. Well, then you just take another opportunity instead. But sometimes it happens, and then you get a much better risk reward. Because if you buy at support, you have a shorter distance to invalidation. The setup is better. And this time price did back up exactly to support, which I pointed out exactly when it happened. This is an entry with radically better risk reward instead of buying here. Because now your distance to invalidation, the downside risk you're taking, is perhaps only a third of the risk you're taking from here. Now, these are very small anyway, given that this is Bitcoin, but I'm trying to explain the principle with the hope that you can find use of this in many situations. See, this risk is maybe only 1/3 or 1/4 of this risk. So your risk reward, or rather your reward divided by your risk, actually triples. But then, do you know what will happen next week? Will political turmoil escalate or quiet down? What side of his bed will Powell wake up on next week? Who will win the election in the US? If you know any of those things, great. Then you are a fortune teller, and I'm very interested in buying your services. Sadly, I cannot predict the future, but I can react to what plays out. And here is my plan. If this support breaks 60,800, then that is pretty bad. And that could happen, because for example the yield curve looks pretty bad now. Looks like it reclaimed this level. And the DXY support held, which makes the dollar seem a lot stronger now, which puts pressure on assets denominated in the USD. And we can see that, for example, traditional gold has stalled a little bit here, and so has stocks, despite this solid breakout. But right now, this breakdown hasn't happened yet. And if it continues to hold, I'm game. And we could still be just one step away from trending price behavior to be back on the menu in the up direction, because Larsson line is gold. So what are the exact criteria to identify that the next trend has in fact started? For me, it's very close now. Given that Larsson line is gold, my plan is to add even more exposure to Bitcoin at the following points. First, we have to clear this level. See, that's where we rejected yesterday. And to have a little bit of margin, I want to see that we clear the point where we reversed last time. And then I would like to see that we make a higher high, similar to the higher low that we made in September. What price level would that be at then? Well, the previous one was somewhere around here at 70,400, which is almost exactly where the, in my opinion, main resistance lies, which is here at 71,400. That's where we reversed the previous times. Even though we didn't quite reach it there in July, it also coincides very well with the volume profile. And at that point, we would have made a higher high. So the big one for me is the breakout from 71,400. If 71,400 breaks, I think good chances that we are off to the races. Trending. Price action back on the menu. Maybe this seems far from current prices, but if you look in BTC terms, this is almost nothing. Look at the distance we've already traveled here. And the distance from current prices until this point here, it's almost nothing. And if we can nail this, if we can identify the point where BTC starts trending again, it's going to be all the alts as well. And they will run crazy amounts. If we get confirmation that the market is back in trending behavior. We will see 100%, 2x, 3x, 10x moves in the alts. In most of the alts, I feel it's worse risk-reward trying to jump the gun too broadly, and it's instead better to look for unusually great setups in specific charts, like we had with SUI to BTC, clear horizontal breakout with trend Larsson line flipping gold at basically the exact same time. Tau BTC, inverse head and shoulders, confirmation at the exact same time as Larsson line flipped gold. So look for bottom patterns with horizontal confirmation and trend flips ideally almost at the same time. Then you have short distance to invalidation, the downside risk is pretty small. This one, inverse head and shoulders, trend turning up, great setup. But if the pattern later invalidates, trend turns down, cut it, don't hodl it down unless you can predict the future. I can't. Don't hodl on the downside. For example, this support here, you see it very clearly, it broke, trend turned blue. Then cut it if you have a position. Don't hodl altcoins down, guys. It's a mistake. Statistically, mathematically, logically, in every conceivable way, it is a mistake. But Larsson, now that you've moved to warmer places, is your hodl socks out? They are not. It's still chilly in the mornings. I have an announcement to make today, and then one important story to tell. After 3.5 months, I'm finally ready. My new company is established, and I built a new improved onboarding panel for new members. Without realizing it myself, even though I've built everything, we have like 9 or 10 tools now to provision, and it started ending up a lot of admin. Most people misunderstand the word focus. Focus isn't just deciding, now I will do this. It's also freeing up both time and energy and brain space to actually do it nicely, calmly, in control, without distractions, in short, with focus. So I built a new onboarding tool and admin panel to reduce the risk of practicalities needing my attention to resolve. And now I need some help. I've run this with a few friendly users over the weekend. Based on their feedback, I changed some things yesterday, deployed a new version today, and now I need more friendly users. Friendly user trial before I launch it more broadly. And for absolute clarity, the tools and the services are stable. It's the checkout and the onboarding to those tools that is new. So you're not getting beta services. I can offer you 20% for the trouble. It worked fine for most people, but one guy had some serious issues actually, which wasn't his fault. So this isn't just a discount or something. You're sacrificing a little bit of your time and potentially some onboarding hiccup. So if you're a person whose blood starts boiling if there's an error message and you risk a heart attack, this isn't for you, then wait a week until chances of smoother sailing is higher. But if you're a person who enjoy trying new things and don't mind sending me an email with how it went afterwards, then maybe a good chance to save $577 because I need some help here. And I need it today or over the next couple of days. So if you want to do it, you go on my website. Remember, I have only one website, it's ctolarsson.com. Go here, friendly user trial, click here to checkout page. And you should see 2310 here instead of 2888. And that's the amount to pay, it's including the taxes. Now, I will talk about something more serious. I want to share a learning from one of the greatest people I've ever worked with and a great friend. We worked together in telecom years ago. He would always go further than anyone else, dig deeper. Most people would read the brochure or the document. He would fly to Taiwan or wherever, find the guy who had designed the chips, go into the lab with him and find out the exact specification of that transistor that was used. He always knew more, always went further, always went for excellence in details and in the big picture. When our CEO met with one of the richest people in the world buying a telecom network for the country, he was the guy flipping the slides because he's the one in the room who understands what they should actually do together. Over many years, I usually took his example to show how to act at work. Always positive attitude, always finding a way instead of defaulting to I cannot because, or it's not possible because, as most people tend to do. In fact, very few things are impossible with the right attitude. The title isn't important, and he was always generous with his time and his knowledge. It's years since we worked together, but last year during the summer he was in Stockholm. We went for beers and discussed if he should perhaps come and work for me again. High time to drop telecom and go for the next industry. He was tempted. We always had fun together. He hesitated, I think, mainly because he felt a responsibility to provide a stable income for his family, but he was considering it. Then this year he caught a serious disease, and last week he passed away. He was much younger than me. In memory of my friend, I want to share these pieces of advice so that more of you can benefit from who he was. Write it down. Strive for excellence. Don't settle. Don't mail it in. Go further than everyone else. And think about how you can do it. Don't default to it's not possible because. Show up in the morning with energy and positivism and kindness. Help people and take care of your health and your loved ones. And perhaps, if I may, dare a little. Take care of the few days we've been given here. Make them count. Tomorrow is a precious gift. Not everyone gets one. Thank you, tack. City och Larsson haft.